This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Many of us are seeing red light therapy everywhere popping up. Social, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it on websites. Heard about it for years. It can support so many different things. As I've learned from this gentleman who has an amazing wellness center in West Palm Beach, Florida. One of the things it can support is those with cognitive issues, ADHD, Alzheimer's, and more. Certainly can help you lose weight. We're going to dig back into this, our conversation with Ritter, who is the man behind the West Palm Beach Wellness Clinic. And how are you doing today?
Doing well, Steve. Yourself?
Doing well. Looking at, you know what? My older daughter is a nurse and she does red light therapy. I just found that 2 days ago. And that's a medical professional. She's doing, I'm like, where you been? Tell me about it. I'm talking to this guy. Read the information. And I text her just a day ago and I said, can we get together and talk about this? Like, what are you doing it for? How's it supporting? So she lives about maybe 15 minutes away. I'm going to see her beginning of the weekend to learn more about her goals with red light therapy. But last time we talked about this, it was connected to neurological challenges that people have, right?
Yeah. That's one of the areas that I'm trying to focus on, is because I think that's going to be a game changer for people. I mean, the weight loss, the skin rejuvenation, chronic pain reduction, that's all fantastic. But like I said before, to be able to give someone more time with their parents who may be degenerating in one of these cognitive diseases, or to unlock a child out of their own head in autism, to me, those are things that excite me to continue to do this.
And again, non-medication, no side effects, just time, some expense, but then past that, you see the changes. What can you tell us? I know that you were digging back into this today since we talked about it last time.
Right. Well, no, I just there's a fantastic resource via the internet called pubmed.gov from the National Institute of Health. And if you go in on there and just put in red light therapy as a search term, you get hundreds of studies. The first ones that pop up talk about dealing with myopia in children, which I then didn't necessarily realize that it helps with, but that's actually I think the first 4 or 5 articles are just about the child myopia.
Wow. And that's on this. You said this is a government connected site?
Yeah,
Wow.
PubMed.gov, National Institute of Health.
Oh,
So there's plenty of studies that have been done or trials that have been done on this. And some of the stuff that I'll do a little quick reading here. Says low level light therapy, LLLT, involves the application of low intensity light to living cells for therapeutic purposes. It's introduced as a non-invasive drug-free therapeutic approach. Stimulates cells to generate more energy, promote reduction of inflammation, and undergo self-repair, regeneration, and restoration of various organism functions.
wow. Again, that's coming from a government institutes of health.
Yes.
Wow.
And, the more of the stuff it talks about, red and near-infrared light are popular due to their efficient absorption by biological tissues and the beneficial effects on intracellular signal modulation and treatment. And it says they rely on their ability to penetrate deeply into the body and exert their effects on photoreceptors within the cell. So our cells have receptors that are waiting for light. Light to be transmitted to them. And what it does is it actually promotes the production of something called ATP, which is one of the things that cells use for fuel. It's either glucose or ATP. So in my understanding, when during the weight loss, people don't want to have too much glucose So this actually helps give the cells the fuel they need to help regenerate themselves without the use of glucose.
Now, with that light on someone that has, well, let's go to the weight loss thing. What's actually going on? Now, the GLP ones, we've got that kind of figured out in terms of what it's doing, curbing your appetite, changing the chemical structure of your stomach and cravings and things like that. Certainly, it supports diabetes, but when it comes to the red light therapy, you have the light on. What's actually going on with those fat cells? I guess I hate to say
Well,
that, but
there's a good video on our website at the bottom of the homepage. It's about 4 minutes long. It's a couple doctors that aren't affiliated with us, but they do red light therapy somewhere else in the country, and they actually have some um, electron microscope footage of the cells after beginning before the red light therapy, after 3 minutes, and then after I think 12 minutes. And what it shows is that basically it squeezes the fat cell, causes a break in the fat cell, and then the fat cell deflates, if you will, forcing all the fat into the bloodstream. From there, it gets absorbed into the lymphatic system. Okay, that's why part of the protocol for weight loss with red light therapy is the red light therapy bars that we use that snap together depending on how much area we need to cover. And after that session is done, we put them on a body vibration plate, which slowly vibrates their body to mimic like if they were jogging or a little bit. And that helps push the fat out of the lymphatic system back into the bloodstream.
wow.
And then urination, drinking a good amount of water, urinating, sweating, that kind of thing helps release that fat. And one of the things we tell folks is within the 24 hours after you do the treatment, the fat cells can still reabsorb the fat. So you don't go out and eat a McDonald's
Uh,
lunch and a McDonald's dinner and a McDonald's breakfast, or you're basically, eliminating whatever good work the red light therapy did.
I'm blown away here. Uh, with the microscope look at those cells in 12 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever that is, very short amount of time, we're seeing the fat leave the cells, go into either the bloodstream or the lymphatic system where the toxins are. It's flushed from your body when you go to the bathroom. I had no idea that's what was going on there. That's pretty amazing.
And not only that, besides that point of it, it's also building collagen below the
Right.
epidermal layer of the skin to try to help with the elasticity of the skin. And then it's doing all the other benefits that it does with helping the cells that aren't the fat cells with their production of ATP, their, making them more efficient. And it's not always it's not just limited to the area that you're actually treating, because as your blood flows and as your body, does what it does, these benefits go throughout your body, you know.
Amazing. We're here. If you have questions, instant feedback, Steve at gmail.com. You can also reach us 631-319-6275. I believe we have a call. Can you hear us?
Yes. How are you?
Very well. Who's this?
This is Jacob. How are you? Can red light therapy help with depression?
It has been shown to help with major depression. Yes.
Wow.
Like,
PTSD, traumatic brain injury.
during this time of the year, since like the cold is happening.
Oh, you're talking about seasonal depression.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely enhances your mood.
Wow. Mm.
Part of the red light therapy protocol is also it can activate your parasympathetic system, which is for another way to refer to it as your rest and digest system. We only have two. We have the sympathetic, which is called our fight or flight, and then the parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. And when you put the red light therapy pads on certain parts of your body, it actually activates that parasympathetic system, even if you're not have eaten or getting ready for bed. So part of the protocol that we have is we put a couple of these pads on the patients or the clients that are doing the weight loss just to help them relax.
Hey, so you can actually feel the benefits of relaxation, i.e., the parasympathetic nervous system kicking in just by putting the pads on, turn the lights on.
Um, yeah, I've asked people, I never necessarily asked them specifically about the calming effects.
Mm,
I'm usually asking them about the chronic pain that we may be treating,
sure.
because it'll do both, depending on where you place it on the body.
I'm glad we're talking about this today because we're going deeper into it, and these are things that I didn't even realize what you're talking about, even on the weight loss aspect of things, how it's almost as if the red light is chasing away the fat. Very basically put, but it's
Yeah,
almost like saying, you don't belong here anymore. Pack your bags, you're out.
right.
It's almost like a force field. The light is, pushing the fat out of your body, so to speak.
So to
So
speak.
amazing. Um, ADHD, more and more cases being diagnosed, definitely adults more and more are being diagnosed in their 30s and low 40s. This can help with that.
Um, that I don't. I think I've seen some studies, if you will, about that. I haven't delved into it like I have with some of these other areas.
Sure.
But you know, who's to say that that is also not a result of um, early onset dementia?
Point.
You
Um,
know,
and we
one of the things that I'm trying to, this one of the things I'm struggling with, Steve, is educating people about this, like yourself. I mean, you're surprised at all this stuff, right?
I didn't doubt it, but I'm a logistics person. That's how my brain is wired. So I want to know, like, how? Okay, I can put these pads on with red lights, and I can lose weight. Okay, how does that happen? Now, based on what you just said, it seems pretty amazing, reasonable how this is actually taking place, but even more so in a very short period of time, where 12 minutes, 24 minutes, whatever it is, it's actually activating. Things are actually happening. That's in one session. Imagine going for 3, 5, whatever it might be, to attain a goal. Let's go to Parkinson's. Now, you mentioned that before. What can you tell us in terms of red light therapy to help somebody support them with Parkinson's?
Well, both Parkinson's and Alzheimer's have a similar, um, or similar as far as the proteins that build up in the brain.
Hmm.
They're called amyloid, the tau proteins. Um, and it's funny, one of the other things I'm saying, they talk about that the wavelengths of 810 and 660 nanometers with the light significantly relieved what's called AB142 induced neurotoxicity, which is these proteins that start attacking the neurons in the brain. And it says it improves vitality, neurite growth, and neurite elongation upon irradiation only for 3 days. They showed it. I have actually a little chart here which shows how well those wavelengths did. And that AB1 to 42 are, for lack of a better term, the proteins that start conglomerating on the brain. In Parkinson's, it's referred to as tangles, if I'm not mistaken, and Alzheimer's, it's referred to more as plaque. Okay, so that I'm still not, up on exactly what the difference is, but it's the same proteins that are causing it. And it just talks about how well this stuff does in these trials. And granted, this is only on animals, but every one of that I read talk about the fact that there needs to be more study on this because it shows that it's beneficial in all aspects, whether it's eyesight, skin, the brain, pain, weight loss, wound healing, because it regenerates and gets the cells to start repair. That's why diabetics have used this for a long time for wounds that, because of diabetes, don't heal real well fast. you know?
Wow. I didn't realize that this is used for diabetes. And do you think there's anything else going on there within diabetes aside from speeding up the healing of wounds? When we talk
Um,
about blood proteins and things like that.
that's way over my pay grade.
All good. We're going deep here. We're going deep.
Yeah, like I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just someone who has delved into this for the last 3, 4 months and read a lot of studies. And everything I read suggests just about every one of these that talk, even with the myopia for children, anti-skid, they all talk about further study needs to be done on humans, but no one's ever done it. Now, I
Hmm.
doubt I've done it here, in my clinic on myself. So I am always my own guinea pig, if you will.
Sure.
Um, and the one of the things that I think, medicine is very reactive. The doctor doesn't prescribe, a PET scan or a CAT scan or an MRI unless you have something going on. Okay. So why do you want to wait till you start having signs of dementia, signs of cognitive dysfunction, and hopefully treat it at that point? I'm trying to convince people that you can use this as a preventative. Just
Hmm.
like we go to the gym to prevent us getting heavier, prevent our bodies from breaking down and deteriorating quicker. Why not make this part of a wellness routine that I'm going to probably institute, that you just go in there and you get this done once a week, you know,
Hmm.
and you don't have to worry about getting that, especially if you have, a history of it in your family. That I think that would scare a lot of people.
Even at the very basic level, when we talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve system, can't be a good thing walking around with your sympathetic nerve system in flight or fight mode, where now you're elevated. There's anxiety, there's stress, there's lots going on there. Even at the basic level of what this can do to get you into the rest and digest mode, where you essentially want to be. Um, I can see the benefits in that alone. I mean, and anxiety. We talked about depression with Josh
Right.
the caller. Um, what about anxiety? Anything that you've heard about that?
Well, only when it relates to maybe a specific, like someone who has chronic pain, you
Gotcha.
know, that's going to cause anxiety to a certain level. Maybe not as much as going out and driving on I-95, but it still causes some anxiety for that person because they have to deal with this on a daily basis.
Right.
And it affects, their movement, affects what they can do, what they can't do. So, those are the kind of things that I always ask someone, hey, how did it help? Even after one, they'll go, seems to be working. They'll
Right.
move their joints around and go. That's, it may be anecdotal, but it's still from the horse's mouth, so to speak, you know?
There's so many benefits here, and again, it's been around for decades. There's a reason, but the difference here is you can't go to insert name of store or online at a certain website where you buy everything from and go there and just order some pads that do red lights. You don't know what you're getting. This it could be basically red LEDs that you're paying for. You need to go to somebody who is reputable, where this is vetted out, and we know that it's coming from a company. That this your source is legit in terms of the wavelengths and everything it's throwing out there.
Right, right. And they're usually more medical grade,
Yeah.
they're usually built better,
Yep.
you know. So yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I bought. Now I don't know if I bought them from that one website, but I bought something online. There are my face masks, my multicolored for the face mask. But all the other machines that I do have, the pad system and the laser lipo weight loss are all medical grade. You
Sure.
can't find those on a on so and so website.
Well, if whatever you found online worked for you, you got lucky. You know?
Well, I
Um,
mean, the face mask one, time will tell, you
gotcha.
know. But it's just something I offer to people as a value added thing. Hey, if you want to do this while you're laying there on your back getting the weight loss treatment, here's something on the house,
Sure.
so to speak.
You have nothing to lose. Again, there's no side effects. You're not taking meds, putting chemicals into your body.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about the New York, not the New York, but the U.S. Government Institutes of Health, very reputable. I mean, that's been around for, I think, like 50, 60 years, where that
Mhm.
publication, this data is actually listed in.
Right. And it's not just the specific thing that you may be coming in or looking at red light therapy for,
Sure.
because it helps your entire body.
Yep.
Helps
Yep.
your entire body. I mean, there's a compound, or I think it's a gas. It's secreted by or emanates from your vascular system, and it's called nitric oxide.
Sure.
And I'm going to start maybe one of the ones in January when we start back up on this. I'm going to talk a little bit about the nitric oxide and how important that is to your entire body. I mean, first of all, it regulates your respiratory system. If we don't breathe, guess what?
Hmm.
Nothing else matters.
Got a little problem if you're not.
Right. But just starting there, and you look at all the different areas that this nitric oxide can affect, and the red light therapy enhances the production of this, because it's just like many other things. As we get older, our body produces less of collagen, um, stem cells. I mean, we still produce stem cells, but as we get older, you
Yep.
know, and one of the things I learned about stem cells, I spent a good amount of money on my wife's hips for some stem cells for a company
Mm.
down here. But all they did was re-inject her own stem cells. So they're already older stem cells, you know? And as I went to a wellness convention a couple of weeks ago, there's people who are basically taking them from, placentas and marketing them. So you're getting stem cells that haven't been used for anything. And so when they're injected, they're, brand new, so to speak, and they're going to go to wherever they're needed and they become that cell. It's crazy how they can become a muscle, they can become a liver cell, they can become whatever. They go to where they're needed. So it's just amazing
Mm.
how much stuff that we don't need medications for if we just dig a little deeper, you know?
Even Chinese medicine, totally different
Exactly.
category. But look, that's been around for thousands of years,
Yeah.
and still supports things like acupuncture. The only negative with all of this is you can't do this virtually. Somebody has to visit your center, and you can find out more at westpalmwellnessclinic.com. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Make a phone call if you're in the area. Certainly, lots of people vacation in the West Palm Beach area. Half my friends
Especially
live
now.
there. Yeah, I want to get on a plane right now. Trust me, we got snow in New York coming and all of that. I envy you. I do. But yeah, make that call. Find out more. It's been here for years, and there's a reason for that. And we'll catch up soon. Appreciate you being here today, Rick.
Yep. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.